I'm going to come back to Ashutosh as well as other spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Anand Raghunathan, do you think that the points that are being made today by Ashutosh and other panelists, are they correct in saying that the government is just not budging? Is it both sides taking hard positions? Is one side taking a soft position or ready to negotiate and the other side saying, no, we don't want talks now? What's actually going on, Anand Raghunathan? Please explain to our viewers.
Yeah, good evening, Madhav. Beyond the hypocrisy, beyond the doublespeak, let me come to the matter of the MSP, because it has been made into a crux of these protests. And, because I've been listening very patiently to my esteemed panelists, I hope they won't interrupt me, because I'm going to say something which is apolitical and only technical. You see, the concept of the MSP originated in the 1960s when we were a food grain scarce nation, not able to feed our own and depended on third-grade US wheat imports. With the coming of the Green Revolution, everything changed. But because MSP encourages sanctioned loot, it has continued. Let me explain. Please give me a couple of minutes. It's very important. Number one, only 6% of the 18 crore Indian farmers benefit from MSP. Only 6%. Number two, the very concept is antithetical to free market and sound economics. Logic tells you that the moment the state decides the MSP of any farm produce, it leads to excessive production of that produce at the cost of other produce. And this is what has happened. Number three, MSP on wheat and rice has meant that Punjab grows only these grains. The government buys only these grains. And our godowns are brimming with only these grains. Brimming and rotting, with up to 30% of them going waste, because government procurement is way over its needs that are only for PDS and buffer stock maintenance. Our buffer requirement for rice is only 39 million ton, while we have stocked our godowns right now in 2020 with 102 million tons. Number four, with the MSP increasing year on year to placate farmers and political vote banks, private companies find it cheaper to buy grains from sources other than the state, even import it. Number five, with increasing MSP, cost of every value added along the chain also increases, from seeds to production to retail, leading to inflation. Number six, with no one buying the MSP produce, its quality suffers. The environmental damage for hoarding produce no one wants is immense. Number seven, if MSP was to be guaranteed for all agricultural produce, the government would be shelling out around 16 lakh crores of our money. 8, fixing of MSP is archaic and prone to miscalculations. ICAR says Indian farmers have lost 45 lakh crores due to faulty MSP pricing of produce in last 15 years. Number 9, please give me 30 seconds, Madhav. 62% of all farmers surveyed recently said they want to fix their own price for their own produce. Number 10, if you turn MSP as mandatory for private companies, they'll simply refuse to buy it. It is cheaper to import. Also, why should the state force me to buy something at a price it has set? Are we a communist country? Fact is, even the state dumps excess produce it has hoarded at a fraction of MSP, thereby garnering huge losses. So even the government is not able to sell at MSP. But who wants to listen to farmers? To end, Madhav, just 10 seconds. MSP is a Soviet-era legacy, where the state decides everything. For India to not meet the fate of Soviet Union, we must listen to reason and logic and not these Soviet-loving sickle ninjas.
When someone from their organization steps out of line and makes as inexcusable comment as this without proof, which also brings shame to the organization, usually there is action against the person. It's not good enough just to say, okay, we distance ourselves. There's action against that person. How do you react to what the good Dr. Riju has said today?
No, absolutely, Rahul. First of all, I condemn in unequivocal terms the abuse and slander directed towards one of our finest institutions, if not the top 5 finest institutions since we gained our independence, which is the BSF. And I'm absolutely appalled. And can I please say, my good friend Rijuta, I think it's not quite an apology that you've given. Distancing is not an apology, but here I must come in and extract a willful and clear apology from the TMC through Rijuta. And the reason I'll tell you now, Rahul, this is the 3rd time in as many years that the TMC has abused and slandered BSF. You remember early this year, TMC, including Mamta Didi or maybe one of her subordinates, and Rijuta was there on the same show. The TMC accused BSF of forcing people to vote for BJP without any proof. And you remember during the Rohingya crisis, it was the DG of BFS that had to, embarrassingly come out and condemn what the TMC was alleging as to the crimes against humanity that TMC alleged was conducting against Rohingya. Such kind of caricature as well as generalizing is totally unacceptable, Rijuta. And Rahul, just 10 seconds. I don't want to comment on what Mehbooba Mufti said because I'm only commenting on what Indians are saying.
Yeah.
And I consider what TMC has said as truly appalling. And I really wish Rijuda, being a scientist that he is, will be apolitical and condemn in unequivocal terms what has been said by his party members.
Well, Mr. Datta, quick response. Apology.
See, my quick response is this. I'll tell you. My quick response is this. The party has distanced itself and said that the person who made this comment has made it in his personal capacity.
Okay, well,
now,
sir, not personal. When you are doing it in the assembly,
hear me, just hear
when
me
you are
out,
doing
please.
it in the assembly and then you come out of the assembly and stand by it.
Please hear me out.
No, 1 second. Mr. Datta, look, I'm running out of time. Unfortunately, that is a consequence. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time, so I'll have to cut you off. I agree that you are distancing yourself, but you need to go a step forward. This individual needs to be publicly excoriated by the leadership and made to issue a unconditional apology for the kind of slanderous remarks that have been made only to curry favor. This is only being done to curry favor, and this is absolutely unacceptable. I think any sane Indian would be calling upon you, sir, today to follow this advice to the last letter in T. I don't want to lecture anybody. I'm not here to lecture anybody. I can only tell you that in professional organizations, if someone steps so far out of line, there are consequences, and those consequences must be felt. Unfortunately, Mr. Kohli, I don't have time, but I have a small suggestion to make to you, sir. The armed forces are very exposed. It would be nice, Mr. Kohli, if somebody on their behalf files a case of slander, criminal defamation, etc. I'm not a believer in this, but maybe civil defamation, I don't know, but some sort of a case to bring out an unconditional apology from this gentleman. I hope at least that would